I'm like, let's get right
Facebook
into
for
it.
business, basically?
Yeah, LinkedIn is essentially Facebook for business. And thank you for asking that, because as realtors, a lot of realtors, real estate professionals really abuse LinkedIn. They get on LinkedIn and just put up listings. And that's not actually what you want to do on LinkedIn. How you can use LinkedIn more effectively is strategic partnerships, find potential prospects, join those, and we'll talk about how to do this later, but join those local groups that you can start to engage within and kind of build that top of mind awareness. I mean, you guys are killing it, and it's a really competitive market, right? I mean, even amongst all of you. And so he or she that gets their name out there the most and is the most visible to their network, you're going to be the ones that people think of either when they are ready for their next piece of property or when they hear of someone who is. And so the nice thing about LinkedIn is you can do that for free. How many people have a premium account on LinkedIn? Yeah, usually I'm the only one in the room with my arm raised. You don't have to have one. I'll tell you the benefits of it. Because LinkedIn keeps changing the pricing. Oops, probably the best one. Oh, that's fine. Okay, probably the best one to get is surprisingly the Job Seeker, because it's the least expensive and gives you the most options. But I'll tell you as we go through here why you may or may not want a paid account. And then finally, one of the things we'll talk about today is publisher. How many of you like to write? Yeah, Chalison, 3 of us. Okay, 4 of us. For those of you who like to write, you get some enjoyment out of creating content. That's a big deal on LinkedIn. You don't have to do this, but for those of you who enjoy doing that, it's not that you're going to you're just going to go into Publisher and post all your listings. But if you have a story around a home you're trying to sell, if you have, an interesting history to it, then you write that little history, and then while you're doing that, of course, you add images of the home, you talk about the previous owners, you talk about the benefits of where it is, but you make it into kind of a story. That'll be like an hour and a half from now. So that was an excellent question. Are there any other questions kind of as we get started? I probably should have done that. Okay, good. Oh, stop. All right, keep the color. There we go. All right. Uh-oh. Okay, good. Yeah, people think that social media folks are techie. We're actually not. Things tend to break around us. So just be aware of that. All right, now the second thing is your activity feed. And a lot of people, because how would you know the difference, look at broadcast activity and activity feed and go, what's the difference? So your broadcast activity, which you just turned off, that is your static profile information. But your activity feed is like a Twitter feed or a Facebook feed, and that's comments that you make in groups, or it's updates that you share, or it's posts that you create. And actually, because LinkedIn is a relatively locked-in network, you want to make that visible to everyone. So go ahead and change that to everyone. Does everyone see where that is? I'll hit it again. Select the people who can see your activity feed, and then just choose everyone. Now there are a few other things here which I'll let you know what they are, but you can change them or not. It's kind of personal choice thing. The next thing is see what others see when you viewed their profile. A lot of people will make themselves anonymous. One of the benefits of having a premium account is you can make yourself anonymous and still see everyone who's viewed your profile. So the difference between the premium and the free account, with the free account, if you make yourself anonymous, then LinkedIn's like, well, if you're not going to show yourself, we're not going to show you who looked at you. The thing about people who viewed your profile, their leads, their friends, their competitors, and that's pretty much it. So you kind of want to see who's looking at your profile. Is another realtor looking at your profile? Okay. Maybe there's a potential relationship possible there. But if someone else is looking at your profile and they're not a friend, there's probably a reason for that. So it's a really good idea to see who's viewed your profile, and if you make yourself anonymous, you don't get access to that unless you have a premium account. And we'll talk about who's viewed your profile and how to use that later as well. The one thing about who's viewed your profile with the free account is you only get to see the last 5 people. So once or twice a week, which will be enough for most of you, you go in, you check, you reach out to anyone who looks like they might be a good prospect, whatever prospect means to you, right? So prospect could be a client, it could be a strategic partner, it could be someone in the mortgage business, anyone where you share referrals, etc. So that's what the anonymity is. I recommend making yourself visible, but again, personal choice. I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to overshare on social media. Privacy is gone. We might as well just like accept that. You can, and any control over what people see is internal. So you decide what you want to share. Like if you're going to go to Vegas and drink too much or party too hard, it does stick on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and everywhere else. So, you know, I always say don't post anything you wouldn't want your grandmother or your granddaughter to read, including language. And LinkedIn is a professional network, so that kind of goes without saying. There's something on LinkedIn called ranking. And we'll look at that a little bit later too. Should you want other people to see how you rank, you can leave that on. You can certainly turn it off. A lot of times what we'll do for a contest with employees is, well, let's see who ranks the best at Sears Real Estate by the end of the day or a week, you know? And then the person who ranks the highest gets, like, I don't know.
A donut.
A donut. A $50 gift card. I don't know, whatever. One of my books. So that you can leave that ranking on. It's just for those of you who are competitive.
How do you
really?
How do you rank, or what do you rank for?
So what you rank for is people who've looked at your profile. That's really it. It's how many people have viewed your profile. So it's not that you're any better. It's not even that your profile is more complete. There's a percentage for that as well. It's just who's looked at your profile more in your company, in your profession, and in your network. So it's not, you know, people who like numbers like it. Now this one is really a matter of personal choice. There's no down or upside to it. But you can choose who sees your connections. So if you've uploaded your client base to LinkedIn and you don't want competitors to see that, you can turn that off. It's not going to affect you in any way like the Who's Viewed Your Profile does. So that's a personal choice, but you can have only you or your connections. Completely up to you what you want to do with that. I do your connections just because, you know, good luck finding my clients and 30,000 people. But if you have only got 100 people and they're all your best clients, then you might want to make yourself, turn that off. Underneath that, who can follow your updates? This again, pretty much everything else is personal choice over here. What I do want you to go, and I'll actually walk around the room for those who haven't done it. Over here on the right-hand side is edit your public profile. There we go. And at the bottom, I want everyone to do this. At the bottom, you have the option of editing your public profile by clicking on the little pen, or if you haven't done it yet, it might just ask you to do that. So again, go into settings and edit your public profile. And what you want to do is put your name in there. First name, last name, no spaces. When I look at a LinkedIn profile, I don't care if it's awesome. If I see that someone hasn't done this, I'm like, oh, neophyte. So not only does it show that you're a little bit more conversant in LinkedIn, whether you are or not, it's also easier to remember, right? Because isn't it easier to remember linkedin.com/in/your name, or your name, middle initial, last name, or your name, Sears Real Estate, or however you want to do that? Isn't that easier to remember than probably what most of you have right now? It's edit your public profile on the right-hand side, which is linkedin.com/pub/first name - last name, number, letter. So how many people have something like that on there? Yeah. So if you just go in, click on the pen, it'll open up that little box, put in your first name and your last name, no spaces. If it's not available, you might need to use a middle initial.
In that same box with that URL?
Yeah, in that same box, it should say linkedin.com/in, and then there's a little box there.
Oh,
Do something that, and I'll walk around. Yep,
on
you
this
got it.
page, right
No
here.
spaces, yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure there's no spaces. You've already done it, it looks like. See, oh, look at this. We got the experts going on here. Not it? Sorry, I can't get anywhere. Okay, let's go back up here. You wanna go here? And we're in privacy settings.
Easy work function.
Same thing happens to me. Oh. Okay, see, it is you.
Yeah. When I was an intern. I was an intern. I was almost 30. It was just for the year, I guess. Yeah. So yes, I think so.
I know mine looks easier. I would try to get into.
Mine's pretty blank. I think I got on my homepage. I got like. That's about it.
Alright, some of you have wacky.
Like a middle initial. Or
Still thinking. Alright, let's see. I noticed some people who are on tablets, it's not working so well. You did it already? Alright, I'll tell you, we'll get to that in a second, you got it? Does every, oh God. Oh yeah, there it is, right on. Okay, did you find it? You got it, you got help, alright, good. And you found it? I did. How about folks in the middle, did you all find where to do that? Can you help each other? I can't get in there. Alright, cool. It worked? Alright. You got it right there. No spaces is the main thing. Unless you want to reset it back. That's true. That's probably a good idea. Yeah. Alright.
Hey, Charlie. How come we don't have a company name?
So, I'm going to answer Chalice's question. So these URLs are unique, so not everyone can be Sears Real Estate. Now, if your name is already taken, you could do like Chalice Sears Real Estate or Annie Sears Real Estate. So you could do that, but these URLs are unique, and there's 355-ish million people on LinkedIn. So some of you with more common names aren't going to get your URL. You know, Vivica Von Rosen, no problem. Although I got LinkedIn expert, so. You could try real estate expert, probably taken. Now, some of you might have been having, mouse issues, there we go. Some of you might have been having issues with LinkedIn. Just for those of you who haven't done this yet, there's another place to do that, and that's when you are in edit mode. There. When you're in edit mode on your profile, a little blue pen will show up, and that's where that link is right there. So now let me show you one more thing on settings. So let's all go back into settings, and then we'll work on your profiles. All right.
Crazy.
There we are. Oh, not working. All right. Anything?
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, yeah, that's not the new password.
Oh.
I wanted to show you in settings, maybe, is under account. So everyone in settings, go to where it says account. Again, settings is underneath that little picture of yourself. Privacy and settings manage. Click on account. A lot of people have duplicate accounts on LinkedIn. It's not your fault. You probably created an account 10 years ago, came to a training, now all of a sudden you have to have a new account. The way to avoid that is to come here where it says add and change email addresses. Now, no one sees this but you. No one will ever see any email address except the one that you make primary. But what this does is it allows you, or it keeps LinkedIn from creating multiple accounts. Because the fact is, LinkedIn is actually not even associating your profile with that URL you just created. It's not associating it with your name. It is only associating it with email addresses. And you might go, well, you know, I'm not going to put my Gmail or my Yahoo email address up there because only my friends have that. Only my friends and family have that. But if your friends and family are on LinkedIn and they accidentally, I mean, they don't even have to do it on purpose, if they accidentally upload their entire mailing list, which happens all the time, unfortunately, and LinkedIn sends you that invitation, LinkedIn's going to ask you to create a new account. And if you haven't been on LinkedIn for 10 years, you might do it. I had one woman who had 8 accounts on LinkedIn. I know. Because she had, you know, she worked for HP, and then HP turned into Agilent, and then she worked for Agilent, so she had another account there, and then she worked for Sun Microsystems, and then she worked for Oracle, and then she was a job seeker one time, and then she worked for this other company, and then she was a job seeker a second time, and then she came to my class. So she literally had 8 accounts on LinkedIn. The way to check to see how many accounts you have on LinkedIn is just to come up into the search bar. So add all your email addresses. They don't have to be primary. Only the one that you want to be seen by your connections is primary. But make sure they're all in there. And I actually have several email accounts I don't have access to anymore. But somewhere, someone has that email account in their information, in their customer relationship management file. And at some point, someone will invite me to connect at that email address. And again, in order to keep LinkedIn from creating multiple accounts for me, I just add them all right there. The only ones anyone will ever see is the one you make primary. So I would strongly recommend you add all your email addresses there. To check to see how many times you're on LinkedIn, just come up to this top search bar and type your name in. And by the way, you're only supposed to have one account on LinkedIn. I can't read. Oh, there I am. Okay, good. But you want to actually type your whole name in and just see how many times you or someone like you shows up. So if there was another Vivica von Rosen in Sweden, I'd go, okay, that's probably one of my cousins. If there was another Vivica von Rosen in California, I'd go, all right, that might be a distant relative. If there was another Vivica von Rosen in Fort Collins, I'd go, okay, I've got 2 accounts. So even with a more common name, you know, if there's another realtor in Greeley with your exact same name who went to the same school as you, probably it's a duplicate account. If you have a duplicate account and you know the email address to that duplicate account, you just sign into what I call the bad account, go into settings, and then you can come down here and close your account. If you don't know what password you had to get into that account, but you still have access to that email, maybe it's your Gmail or your Hotmail, there's of course the I forgot my password thing. If it's an account that you set up 10 years ago, you don't have access to that email address. Has anyone come across that? So what you're going to do is go into that bad account, look at that URL that we looked at earlier, linkedin.com/pub/first name, last name, blah, 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 of the bad account, not your good one. And then you're just going to come over here to help, which is again underneath the picture. Come down to Help Center. Oops, Daisy. Come down. Easier said than done. Come down to Get Help. Here's the ninja trick to getting someone live at LinkedIn. When you go to the help section, you'll notice there's a contact us, but it's grayed out. You can literally type anything in here, like peanuts. You can even spell it wrong like that. I mean, you can put anything in the search box. It just doesn't matter. What that does is activate the contact us button. So now I can contact LinkedIn and say, hey, I have duplicate accounts. I no longer have access to this old one. I think it's associated with this old email address. I'm not sure, but this is the link. Can you please close it? Or if there's good information on there, good contacts or whatever, can you merge it? Yes.
So I went and edited email addresses and added
Yep.
another email address that I have.
Yep.
And it says this address is already, when I did the address bar up top,
Yeah.
and I only found myself once.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added an email and it said this address is already associated with a LinkedIn account. Find
See?
out how to resolve this.
Yeah, so you have a dupe. And sometimes, you know, you
I don't
might
have a
have,
gift though when I just put my name and there's only me.
yeah, sometimes it's not 100% accurate. But yeah, that's the second, that's the second indicator that you have duplicate accounts is when you try to do something on LinkedIn, it says you're not the intended recipient of this message, email, whatever, or it says you have duplicate accounts. Do you have access to that email address?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would not right now, but you know, when you get home tonight or over lunch, just sign into the old one, do the password recovery, then just go in and delete it, unless it's good, and then merge it. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. I can, and if we have time after, I can do it really quickly for you.
Okay.
It's kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, that way, and if you didn't find it, possibly no one else is. What's your full name?
Ryan Andre.
So, yeah, it's not even like you're a Richard or a Richard, yeah. So, it's LinkedIn's just being weird, and it's probably an old account. Do you remember when you created it?
Oh God. No.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. It might be inactive, so you're not showing up in searches anymore. So it's not crucial, but you might as well clean it up.
Okay.
All right, so now for the rest of the day, we're pretty much going to be spending time in the profile section. This is where we make the edits to your profile, all the changes to your profile. LinkedIn actually you can click on edit profile, or you can just click on profile because LinkedIn just changed the user interface. I guess technically to make it easier. I don't know. It's always in edit mode. It is always in edit mode. So let's start at the top and work our way down. First of all, you'll notice I have this lovely banner. One of the things I'm going to encourage Chalice to do, and in fact on the handouts I kind of threw a couple together that you can use. They're not going to be perfectly set up, but we can send you the links to these files. Or in the electronic version, you just right-click and save as. You can put these, or Chalice, you can have your web person create something that goes along the top. And it really will define you from everybody else up there. Or, you know, permitting, create your own. And write this down. Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com/John Front. JOHNFRONT. So that John Front, his name's actually Ivan, he's in Bulgaria. He creates all my imagery for me for $5. This cost me $5. Actually, I tipped him, so it cost me $10. Normally, if you go to, you know, a graphics department, it's going to cost you $100. So Fiverr.com/John Front, or you know, you can use some of the ones that I kind of threw together for you, and Chalice might create one that you all have the option of uploading.
We'll send you one.
Yes, okay, good. And how you'll add that, it'll just say edit background, and then you'll have the opportunity to upload a new image. Do any of you have that edit, probably not on the tablets, but on your PCs, do you have the edit background?
Edit
So,
background.
Add a background photo.
oh good, okay, so when you click, oh, you've already got one. Look at that. So nice. See, Lindsay looks great. Very nice. If you click on that, you can add anything in the meantime, but eventually add your imagery. And you can change this as often as you want too. So if you've got a home for sale and you've got a nice spread of that home, why not upload it? And then when you have another home and another home, so if you've got a showpiece, you can absolutely put it up there, or your contact information or whatever. The reason I like my contact information up here is it's not clickable, so Google can't come in, or scammers and spammers can't come in and like pull my phone number and my email address from that. And yet the human eye can see it. So if someone needs to call me or email me or follow me on Twitter, they can just find me just from that right there. So it's nice to have that contact info up there as well. Now the other thing you want to do is add a photo. 89% better chance of engagement if you add a photo. And you want it to be of you, and you don't want it to be just the logo. If you've got a picture of you standing in front of the Sears logo, fabulous. Or in front of a white wall. You just don't want it to be an obvious selfie. Or, standing with your wife, Pat, or Chris, and your Pat, and she's Chris, and I don't know who am I talking to. No babies, unless anyone in the room is also a doula. No fish, unless you're, just you, professional photo, you all have them, so upload them if you haven't done it yet. The next thing that you want to edit is your name. You'll notice I have a misspelling of my name under the former name field. That's because everyone misspells my name. And I'm not findable on LinkedIn under V-I-V-E-K-A if everyone's spelling my name V-I-V-I-C-A, right? So if you've got a tricky name, you can put a misspelling of your name in there. You can, of course, put a middle name or a former name. You can put a nickname. So if we have the Richard Dick situation, LinkedIn's not that smart. So if you're like Elizabeth Betsy, LinkedIn's not that smart. Richard Rich, it can figure out. David Dave, it can figure out. But those middle names. And then you want to make sure, even if you don't put anything in the former name field, you just expand it by clicking on it, make sure that your name is visible to everyone. LinkedIn, because they want you to buy the premium account, LinkedIn keeps making it harder and harder and harder to be seen. So what we want to do is make sure that your photo is visible to everyone and your name is visible to everyone, at the very least. Now underneath that, and this is another great opportunity that people miss out on, underneath that is your professional headline. Highly recommend you do this in a Word document first, or write it out here. But this is 120 characters that you can tell people, back to the name, don't put anything other than your last name in the last name field. If you've got your PhD or something like that, that's fine. But don't do like world's best realtor, or your phone number or your email address. A, it's cheesy, but B, LinkedIn, it goes against their end user agreement. And how I know this is because someone told me in my last name field to put my my moniker, which is LinkedIn expert. And so I did that, and LinkedIn blacklisted me. And that was 10 years ago, and I'm still blacklisted. So it's actually kind of hard to find me under my keywords on LinkedIn, which is one of the strategies we're going to talk about. So nothing but your last name in the last name field. I make all the mistakes, so you don't have to. All right, back down to your professional headline. 120 characters. Tell people who you are, what you do, and how you do it. You've won so many awards. Like the agency has won a lot of awards. Winner of the 2015 Best Realtors in the World Award. Or if you personally won an award, you can absolutely put that up there. 120 characters, not words. So that's 119 characters, what I have in there.
This is in the where? Right.
This is the professional headline. It's that section right underneath your name. And you'll see in the workbook, I gave you some examples. Page, here we go, on page 4. So you could do Realtor at Sears Real Estate, simply the best, which is your tagline, with 25% market share in Greeley and 33% market share in Evans. Or, Realtor at Sears Real Estate, simply the best, winner of this, and that award. Or Realtor at Sears Real Estate, simply the best, serving, if you focus on serving business, business communities, if you do commercial.
You do
or
commas in there?
You can do commas, you can do the little bar, which is on top of the backslash. So between keynote speaker and Forbes, I use that little bar, it's on top of the backslash. You can use commas, and if you do this first in a Word document, you can use stars, bullets. You can add all. The only thing with adding those symbols is they don't transfer over to Internet Explorer. So they'll transfer over to Chrome, they'll transfer over to Safari, they'll transfer over to Mozilla Foxfire. But when someone looks at your profile on Internet Explorer, which a lot of businesses still do, it's going to look all funky doodle. So you might want to stick with just the bar or a basic bullet, or stars seem to cross over. But things like musical notes or little icons of houses, they don't always translate. So know your audience. If your audience is going to be using Internet Explorer, don't do it. If you've got Mac users, then go for it. Did you know you can't even download the latest version of Internet Explorer on Mac anymore? Because anyway. 120 characters, that includes the spaces. So again, it's a good idea to do it in a Word document first, so you can count how many characters you've used, but also spelling errors. I had a Fortune 500 executive who spelled chief incorrectly.
Does this have spell check though at all?
It depends on your browser. So are you using...
Explorer.
Maybe not. Now the good thing is you can tell us what we can and can't do on Internet Explorer. There's some things on LinkedIn that it doesn't play well with IE, so just be aware of that. Yeah, most of the, and I think even Internet Explorer has spell check, and some things will sneak through. I'm going to have you do, probably not right now, but when you go home, another reason again to do it in a Word document, character count, formatting, adding those bullets, spell check, grammar check. So it's and you've got a backup. So my LinkedIn account has been shut down like 4 times now from doing what I shouldn't do. I won't teach you how to do that. And so it was good to have a backup of my LinkedIn profile just so I could rebuild it again, which was unfortunate. All right, any questions on that section right underneath your name? This is what people see when you communicate on LinkedIn, your picture, your name, and your professional headline. So between those 3 things and customizing your URL, if you only do that, you're ahead of the game. Now, we're going to do more than that, though. Underneath that, you can put your location. And you can also do your industry, which thankfully real estate is actually listed there. It's not a terribly comprehensive list, but you probably already got that. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we'll come back to these current and past experience. The next thing that you want to do is come down here to where it says contact info. Does everyone see that? So the top part is what people who are directly connected with you can see. So these are people, either they've invited you to connect or you've invited them. So they're safe. So it's okay to put an email address and a phone number and an IM. I would not put your home address ever, but you've got an office, so you can put your office there. I work at home, so I have my little bio in there instead. Now, more importantly, don't worry about Twitter or WeChat for right now, but underneath that is websites. Does everyone see that? By the way, you guys have a great website to use as a resource. When you click on the pen, you want to come down to where it says Other. Right? So the default is my company. No one's going to click on that. Yawn! But like best real estate office ever, click here for best real estate office ever, or whatever you want to put in there. When you click on Other, you'll notice that this new middle field opens up. You're limited to 30 characters. Again, it's a little bit limited. But even if you put, Sears Real Estate or Northern Colorado Sears Real Estate, and you can go to 3 different landing pages. So find your, there we go. You can find your bio. You can do the home page. You can do testimonials. There's a lot of options. I put 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. I put 5 options in the worksheet, page 4. But you actually have several pages, like how many on the sitemap? Probably 15, 20 pages?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so choose 3. So, Sears Real Estate, my bio, what people say about us, where to buy things, or you might have your own personal website. Or you might want to point them to your Facebook page if you're using Facebook for marketing, especially if it's showing all the fun you had in Las Vegas last weekend. We're both in Las Vegas.
was also in Las
I was,
Vegas.
yeah, you were at the Wynn, which was a much nicer hotel. I was at Valley, so. But you can choose you can choose 3 of those websites and add them in here and then describe them. People who love us can be your testimonials, right? So any questions about websites?
Where is that at?
Sure, it's underneath your contact information. So, here, I'll shrink it back up. So pretty much underneath where it says how many connections you have, it says contact info. There it is. See, everyone see it there? Just from your profile, make sure you're on your profile. Contact info, click on the gray pen, and then choose other. The magic word there is other. That's in the drop down. Does everyone see that? And then just choose, and I would literally just grab the link. Don't even try and type it in, just like copy it. Right? Oops. Here we go. Yeah, just copy it, go back in, and paste it in the last field. Describe it in the second field, paste it in the last one. Any questions? Now this is new on LinkedIn. If you haven't been there for a while or even a week, you might not have seen this before. Here's all the other sections, and I've used most of them up, but here's all the options that you can do to add things to your profile. So you can add publications. And by the way, that doesn't mean necessarily just a book. If you've contributed in an article to, NoCo magazine or something like that, if you've got any kind of writing anywhere, that counts as a publication. If you blog, that counts as a publication. That's only 4 people in the room. I don't know, do you have a patent in something? Certainly all of you are certified and or licensed, I hope, as real estate professionals. So you can add your licenses or your certifications. Chalice is really big on doing good in the community, so you can add your volunteer work. You can add organizations that you're a member of. You can add courses that you're taking. Hey, if you want to be known as, as savvy in social media, you could put this course down as a course that you've taken, should you want to do that. So I'm not going to go over all the options, but, literally you just click on, okay, I'm going to add volunteer experience. I'm going to add my volunteer opportunities. That's if you want to sit on a board or do stuff for free. Organizations that you're a member of. Personal details, we're going to talk about that in just a moment. And if you haven't been on LinkedIn for a while, probably your experience is in there, add education, add experience, so all of that's an option.
Question real quick.
Yes,
On that part where it says volunteering opportunities.
yes,
So would that be a place like we got a call from the food bank last week saying, hey, we needed 15 volunteers, and would that be a place where we could say, hey, the food bank is looking for volunteers this Saturday from...
no, that's just where that's an excellent question. This is just literally where you said, I volunteered in these different places. Now, if you do want to do that, that is, and we'll talk about this in probably another 20 or 30 minutes, but if you ever did want to share information like that, you share it as an update. Yeah, and absolutely, what a great thing to do, because you're helping someone out, you're sharing that with the community. In the meantime, people are going, oh, he's such a nice guy, so it's definitely something to consider. But you would put down, if you want to, that you volunteered at the food bank. You can absolutely put that information in there. Yeah. So we'll come back to that. I just wanted to show everybody, no one has to have, by the way, a profile as big as mine. I just wanted to show everybody where that was.
But the more information you have, Vivica,
The
right,
better.
the better. So
Yeah,
you
yes.
do want to spend some time
Oh, for sure.
with that, not just like, just put my profile in and then not really enter that information.
Yeah, no, and we'll talk about that too. I just wanted to show everyone where that was so you have a reference and can go back to it. Now the next thing, and again, we're not going to have a lot of time for this, but in the worksheet, I've done, oops, on it. The summary section, other than that top section, which we've already done, is probably the second most important part of LinkedIn. And everyone skips it, right? Or maybe they've got a paragraph in there because you wouldn't know you actually have 2,000 characters to work with. So on your worksheet on page 5, I've kind of started this for you. Again, we can get this to you, or you may already have it in electronic form. So you can just open up the Word document. You don't have to retype all this in. But basically what you're going to do is say, who are you? You know, I'm a realtor at. I'm a 10 plus year real estate professional at. What do you do? Why should I hire you instead of someone else in this room? What makes you stand out from the crowd? What's your area of expertise? So just literally answer that question and work it into your copy.
No, I'm sorry, where is that located?
2 places on page 5.
But I mean on.
It's under background. It's your summary
Okay.
section. Yeah, it's your summary section. It's 2,000 characters. Highly recommend you do this in a Word document first so you can add bullets. Bullets catch the eye, or you can add numbers, you know. We number 1 at this, and number 2 at that, and number 3 at that. Anything that can grab the human eye. Now, what I will tell you, LinkedIn doesn't allow for much formatting other than bullets. So there's no bold in the summary section. There's no italics. But what you can do is capitalize what you want the human eye drawn to. And like I said, add those bullets and special characters. So who are you? What do you do? What makes you special? Why would I work with you other than somebody else? What are some of your wins? What is the moment in real estate you're most proud of? Either awards that you've won, or just you managed to find the perfect home for someone who was expecting tomorrow and they needed their own house. Or you helped a whole family, you know, from moving into a home that was perfect for them. Or whatever you're proud of in your work world. Write a little story, 2,000 characters, not words. That includes spaces, but you can that is probably 19,997 characters right there. So it's about a page worth of writing. Your USP, what's your unique sales proposition? Again, what makes Sears and what makes you within Sears different and better than anyone else out there? And then you can just cut and paste I just took the About Us section from Sears Real Estate, literally just cut and paste that in there. And I usually say end up with a personal note. You know, something that would make someone want to hang out with you. Like, what do you do for fun? I mean, as long as it's not, too crazy. I'm a swinger. Yeah, don't add that. But I love living in I love living in Fort Collins because of the microbreweries. You could do that, but if you like running marathons, or if you've climbed all the 14ers, or you love camping up in Mount Princeton during the summer, or you're an avid skier, whatever. If there's some little piece of information about you that people think is interesting when you tell them, go ahead and add it at the bottom. I love my wife and kids, that's okay to do too. Just one little personal piece of information. So it starts off with, who am I in Sears, why do you want to work with me? Then we do a little bit about Sears Real Estate and why you want to work with the company itself, and then a little bit more about you. So again, that's 2,000 characters. We started it for you. Even if you just do, like, take an hour tonight, do this and do those things in the beginning, that's 90%, you're going to be 90% better than 99% of the people out there. So, use what we've created for you. Now, another nifty thing that's and if you have a paid account, you get keyword suggestions. So another thing about LinkedIn, it's a little bit like Google, except it's easier actually and cheaper to create your search engine optimization on LinkedIn. So on page 3, this is actually your keyword list from your website, but it's applicable to LinkedIn as well. So if you can work any of these phrases into your copy, which a lot of them are already in there, because they had to be in there in the About Us section anyway, so a lot of it's already in there. But if you can write or add any of these keywords to your profile, not only to your summary section, but to your education, to your experience, the more you can add, the better. Now, you don't want to go, except for in one spot, which I'll show you a little bit later. You don't want to go real estate in Greeley, real estate in Greeley, real estate in Greeley, real estate in Greeley, real estate in Evans, real estate. You don't want to just keep repeating the same thing over and over. You see profiles that do that, yeah, they get found, but they're so cheesy that no one would ever hire you through it. So but artfully add those keywords. If you have the paid account, LinkedIn will actually give you keywords. But Chalice has done the work for you already, so just go ahead and where it makes sense, just as my friend says, bake them in. Just bake them in, Lori.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a really old account, you won't have the specialty section, so don't worry about that. Now, the other nifty thing that you can do on LinkedIn now is add media. And as you can see, it really does make your profile kind of pop out, doesn't it? Those pictures. So you can literally come up to an award that you've won, a physical award, take a picture of it with your phone. Or if you've got a link, if you've got a customer testimonial, these are so great. If you, and Chalice, if I'm saying anything that goes against any, because compliance. You can't, I think, use the word realtor, maybe.
You can if you're just, but you have to be a realtor.
You have to be a realtor.
Which all of these people
That
are.
makes sense. Okay, so you're all good. Yes, if I say anything that's out of compliance, let me know, but I don't think I am. But yeah, so if you've got a picture of your license, take a picture of it. If you've won an award, take a picture of it. If there is a write-up about either you personally or Sears Real Estate in general, you can add a link to it. For sure, get testimonials from your happy clients. Like, how many people don't have a smartphone in the room?
Yeah.
Right? And do your smartphones allow you to take video? Right. 10 minutes, 10 seconds. 10 minutes is too long. 10 seconds. Why people are thrilled with you and thrilled with their new home. And upload them to YouTube. You can even unlist them, so it's not everywhere. But then you add that link, and it'll show. Like, that's what this is. This is a YouTube, I think. Let's just double check that. That was a oh, I'm in edit mode. This was a interview that I did a couple years ago with Diners Club. Yeah, I'm going to put it up there. The thing about, as we've all probably experienced, the thing about being online is anyone can say they do, oh yeah, I'm the best realtor in the world, and I, close 100% of deals in Greeley. You could say that about yourself. It would be a lie, but you could say that about yourself. But if you've got proof, right, you do have your license, you did win that award, you do have happy customers or clients, you were mentioned in the Tribune, right, the Greeley Tribune, you were mentioned in the Tribune. Anything like that counts as media, and it credentials you. And to add media is pretty easy. You just click on this little box right here. Technically, just click on it. Yep, just click on it. What I will say is LinkedIn's going through a lot of changes right now, and some of you will see down here it'll say add link, upload a portfolio, stuff like that. So I'm apparently, literally, LinkedIn is probably changing me over right now because this isn't working. But normally you can click on that and you can actually just upload that link, upload that file. You can't upload a movie, it's too long, but you can add a link to YouTube. And what I'll tell you is if at first LinkedIn says that link is invalid, just ignore it and hit enter again. It's really glitchy right now. With all the changes LinkedIn's making, it's super glitchy. So just hit enter again, and it'll probably load.
Do you think they might have changed that? Because it does give a link for video now.
Yeah, it does, but that's a link for video. So it's like a YouTube or Vimeo.
No, there's
So what's the
link
length of
and video.
Yeah, if you try to upload a video, if you do probably like a 10-second or less, it might upload. Server space, if you have 335 million people uploading a minute-long video, give it a try. But if that doesn't work, do it in YouTube. Question, yes?
Did you say you had to have the Premiere to be able to do that? The video?
No, anyone can do this.
Because
I
can't open up any.
It's LinkedIn is literally changing over its user interface like as we speak.
Oh.
It started last week and it's going to roll out over the next month or so.
Give it a little
So it's super glitchy right now. Like I can't open it either.
Just keep trying.
But yeah, just keep trying. Go have lunch, come back and do it again. Close out of it and come back into it. It's just super glitchy right now. Now we'll get to that. There's other ways that you can do this too as realtors, but section, 2,000 characters, add bullets. Use the template if you want. It'll save you some time. Get your keywords in there. They're already, you know, for the most part, they're already in here. And then add your media if you can. And come back to it later if you can. We'll get to endorsements in just a second. We'll get to projects in just a second. All right, now the next thing is experience. You want to think a little bit outside the box. Now, the first experience that you put in here, yes, put in, you know, that you're a realtor specializing in whatever it is you specialize in, you know, first-time home buyers, commercial real estate space, luxury real estate space. So I would add all that to the title field, which comes up here. So actually I should put international keynote speaker. Actually, I did have international keynote speaker for LinkedIn, and then LinkedIn made me take it down because I don't actually work for LinkedIn. I should have said on LinkedIn. But this space right here, realtor for sales real estate specializing in, or general real estate, you know, whatever it is, but just add those because those are keywords and it'll make your profile more findable. Your location, by all means, add your, now I put your next event, I was being clever-ish, but you know, Greeley, real estate, Evans, Northern Colorado, Greater Denver area. You can type in anything you want there up to, I think it's 200 characters. So by all means, add all the different areas that you broker deals in. And then your time period, you don't have to say the month, just so you know, leave it at choose, year to present, year to year. Now when you do year to present, it's going to invite you, let me see if I can force it into doing that. Usually it'll ask you to change your headline. Just ignore that. It's going to ask you to change your headline to your latest job. You've already worked on that 120 character headline, so just uncheck or ignore that. And then again, you've got 1,000 characters here to talk about what you do. This might be a good place to grab that bio on your website. Because a lot of you, I noticed when I was doing a general Google search, a lot of you, does everyone or does, yeah, so grab your bio. Copy and paste it in here. It's fine. You won't get Google slapped for that. And then underneath that, of course, again, you can add media. So add 5 more pieces of media. Or this is where you can maybe add some pictures of some homes. Or if you've actually got a portfolio of a home that you're selling, or homes that you're selling, you can upload that slideshow or that PowerPoint portfolio of those homes. If you wanted to, you could actually create a whole other section saying homes for sale. And you could go in here and describe those homes. You just have to keep up on it because you don't want to say homes for sale and have a listing from 5 years ago, unless it's up for sale again. But you can add as many experience sections as you want. So as an example, I've got my actual business, which is LinkedIn to Business, you know, CEO, founder, owner, whatever. Then I have keynote speaker at LinkedIn to Business because I do consulting, but I also do keynote speaking. So I've actually got those divided out on my profile with some speaker reel. I've got a SlideShare. I said my SlideShare channel. So presentations that I do, again, you could do that with a portfolio of homes. I've got my YouTube channel. So if you've got a bunch of people who've given you testimonials, YouTube or video testimonials, and you've uploaded to YouTube, you can add that as a whole separate section. You know, certainly where you used to work, you can add that experience as well. And just remember, anytime you can bake in these keywords, the better. So it makes sense not only to add just what you're doing right now for Sears, but add some of those other sections and experience too, if you want to. The more keywords you have, the more findable you'll be. And right now there's a lot of opportunity to do that, to kind of claim that expertise. Any questions about experience, what you can do with experience, what you can add to experience? And literally, if you guys want to like grab, you know, find your bio and copy and paste it in there right now, go for it. Any questions on that? show where you went to school. And it doesn't have to be, CSU. It can be somewhere, it can be your license or your certification. Am I there? Oh, that's my volunteer work. Somewhere in there. There we go. So add your education. You've got an opportunity to expand upon, there it is. You've got an opportunity to expand upon that should you want to. If you went to school for Native American women's autobiography like I did, I literally got my master's in that. Doesn't really have much to do with what I do now, except for I like standing in front of a room and talking. So if you need to explain why you're not teaching Native American women's autobiography anymore, you can use this section to do so. But you'll notice I also have beside my education, I taught for social media business school, so I've got that in there. I taught for Integrated Alliances. I taught for Larimer County. I still do. So you'll see that I've got some other education in there as well. I just put in my high school as an example. You certainly don't have to do that. Any questions about education? Now, underneath that is additional information. This part, people are usually exhausted by this part and don't add this, but there are two things here that are really important. The first is interests. Now, if you don't see additional information because you've never added it, it's back at the top where all the photos and the icons were. Interests is where you do your keyword dump. Interest is where you take this whole list and you just literally copy and paste it into that section. This is the only place I'll tell you to do that, but this is a good place to do that. You just need to make sure, and I didn't do it on here, that each keyword or keyword phrase is separated by a comma. Real estate, realtor, real estate in Greeley, real estate in Fort Collins, real estate in Evans, real estate in Northern Colorado realtors. So be thinking of all the keywords, and then your specialties, commercial real estate, luxury real estate, new home buyers. Again, just look through the keywords that we gave you and just copy and paste that list. You get 1,000 characters. Here's some ninja tricks about this section. If you have a common name, anyone in here have a common name? Like there's more than one of you, even in the Greeley area with your name? Oh, good, okay. If you do have one and you just didn't want to raise your hand, put your name in here. Another place to put a misspelling of your name in here. You could put someone else's name in there, I'm just saying, and your profile would show up when people did a search on them. Just saying. Right? So, I don't do this, you can do that with competitors. I actually do it because I mentioned some of my mentors. But if my name happens to show up when someone does a search on Bob Berg or Mari Smith or Dave Kirpin, I'm okay with that. So this is really just anything you would want to get found on if someone were to do a search on you in Google. Think about adding it to this section. And the more specific you can get, the better. And I always say think noun, think verb, think acronym, think synonym. And then when you look at that, you're like, oh yeah, that's also a skill set. And then you can add it to your skills too. Two separate sections, same words, doesn't matter. And then underneath that is advice for contacting your name. And you're like, well, my first level connections already have my email address and phone number because I added them up above, right? This is for everybody else. So now I have no one should have as many first level connections, but the average person has about 200 connections on LinkedIn. What better chance do you have? Selling a house to 200 people or selling a house to 2 million or 20 million people? The 20 million is the answer to that rhetorical question. If you put your email address and a business phone number, just leave your email address if you're nervous about the phone number. If you put that in this section, then anyone in your network, which we'll talk about what that is in a second, anyone who you've directly connected to and their friends or people that you share a group with, all of those folks can see your profile and can now email you. Will you get spammy newsletter stuff from this? Yes. But will you get people calling you because this is the only place that they could find you? So here's a true story. I love it when good things happen to people I like. So my friend Deborah Pringleson, she's a speaker, she's a trainer, she's a brilliant businesswoman. She actually brokered the deal between Sir Richard Branson and the state of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time, to make San Francisco Virgin's hub. So she brokered that whole deal. It's a great story. If you can ever bring her in, you should. It's an amazing story. And Shark Tank, the producers of Shark Tank, found out about her, and they tried to contact her from her email address on her website, and they had old phone numbers and they had old email addresses, and they couldn't reach her. They couldn't, for whatever reason, it wasn't working. They found her LinkedIn profile. Of course, she's a client of mine, so we have her phone number and her email address listed down there. They reached out to her. She's one of 3 finalists for a whole new Shark Tank show. Let's all hope she gets it, because then I will be on it. So, I mean, that's true story. True story. It just happened like last week. So it's really, really, really important. Now, I'm not saying that, that HGTV is going to call you and say, hey, we want you to do a whole show. Although Property Shop is also a client of mine. But it could happen. You never know. So you definitely, in that additional contact information area, want to tell people how to contact you. And by the way, anything on my profile, feel free to appropriate and or steal and or plagiarize. I'm okay with that. So I also tell people kind of my rules of engagement. Like, I'm happy to introduce you to someone if I know you or if you give me a good reason why. Don't put me on your newsletter list. Don't multiple email me, but I've got my rules of engagement. If you like them, please feel free to add them to your profile. But most importantly, add your contact info. I mean, do that right now. If for those of you who have computers, please do that right now. Your email address, if you're comfortable doing that. Just want to make sure that everyone who you're connected to on LinkedIn has that access to you. Now, I leave this towards kind of last, not in the day, because we still have a lot to go. I should give you a bio break here in a second, though. On LinkedIn, there's something called skills and endorsements. How many of you have seen that? I know some of you are working on them right now, which is good. So skills and endorsements, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. When they first came out, there weren't endorsements, there was only skills. So again, anyone could say anything. I literally put down here, underwater basket weaver. Because I scuba dive and my mama taught me how to make a basket. So I put underwater basket weaver just kind of as a joke. And then endorsements came out. And people actually, I've taken it out since then, but people actually endorsed me as an underwater basket weaver. I think I had like 28 endorsements as an underwater basket weaver by the time. Which just goes to prove people you don't know will endorse you for things you don't do. Now, why this is still important is it's numbers. People look at the numbers. I have 30,000 connections. I better have 99 plus on most of mine. Don't worry if you've got lower numbers than that. 10, 5, 2 endorsements. It's just other people saying, yes, he or she does in fact have that skill. If you don't have your skills listed, they can't endorse you for it. Now, on LinkedIn, only your first level connections can endorse you. But I absolutely, most certainly would encourage you to add your skill sets here. Let other people endorse you. Plus, the LinkedIn search engine likes this. So, for some odd reason, LinkedIn actually told people to endorse me because LinkedIn will make suggestions too for YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I do YouTube videos. I don't market YouTube. I don't tell people how to market YouTube. I'm actually in my world of social media pretty dismal when it comes to YouTube. And yet I started getting all these requests for people who wanted me to do their YouTube marketing. Because I had endorsements for it here. So it's really, really important to get your skills in there. And then maybe you just actively endorse other people hoping that they'll endorse you back. Now what's kind of cool about this though, is when you get an endorsement and you scroll over, you can send that person a message. So I could say, Dear Gregory, thank you so much for endorsing me for whatever LinkedIn training. I really appreciate it. Or maybe someone endorses you for jogging. And, you go, thank you so much for endorsing me for jogging. Would you mind endorsing me for real estate as well? And please let me know what I can endorse you for. All you have to do is scroll over the picture of the person who endorsed you and send them a quick message. I think it was, what's the printer company? Not HP.
Kodak.
Canon.
Kodak?
touches to build that sense of know, like, and trust with someone, right? So people have to see your name or talk to you or be in your presence in some way, shape, or form about 7 times before they feel like they really know you. What's great about LinkedIn is it's really easy to get to that number. Like, you invite them to connect, that's your first touch. You thank them for connecting, that's your second touch. You endorse them, that's your third touch. You send them a message, that's your 4th touch. You share a group with them and post something in the group, that's the 5th touch. You send them another message or you update, that's the 6th touch. It's really easy to get that sense of top of mind awareness with people, which leads to referrals. The more visible you are, I mean, we would love to think people are loyal to us just because we're so incredibly awesome and unforgettable, right? I am the most awesome, unforgettable person I know, and yet I have definitely had friends of mine, clients of mine, who preferred other people on LinkedIn because I did not stay in their atmosphere enough. And you can do that with email campaigns. I was joking, by the way. You can do that with email campaigns. You can do that with other social media, of course. You don't have to do it all on LinkedIn. If you've already got some marketing in hand, great. But how much does a radio ad cost? How much does a TV ad cost? How much does LinkedIn cost? Nothing. So endorsements are a great way. I mean, it literally takes seconds. You find maybe a strategic partner you want to get in their radar a little bit, find them on LinkedIn, invite them to connect. Thank them for connecting. Endorse them a couple times, send them another message. You've now increased that top of mind awareness, and you don't have to do it every day, like once a month. One of them, we're going to get into the actual communication strategies coming up here next. But one of the things I recommend is do your hit list, right? Create a list of 10 or 15, you do this anyway probably, 10 or 15 or 30 of your top prospects, your best strategic partners, people you really want, great networkers, Ann Clark and Fort Collins. People you want to stay top of mind with, and then once a month you go in and you endorse them or you send them a quick message or whatever. You just have your hit list. I've got 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. Do you think I reach out to 30,000 people? Heck no. I've segmented my audience and I reach out to them accordingly, but I probably actually only actively engage with 15 to 20 people a month. And that's enough. I can't remember who said it, but someone said, you only need to know 8 people within a mile of where you are standing at any given time to be a millionaire. As long as those 8 people become super fans of yours and refer you often. And LinkedIn really does help you do that. Question?
So you have 30,000 people.
Yeah, it's way too many. Don't do
I
it.
keep getting a lot of invitations from local or lenders in Denver.
Yeah.
I don't want to connect with them. That doesn't make any sense, I don't think, for me.
You don't have to, unless.
Or or should I?
Yeah, so good question. Actually, that's what we're going to move into next. So there's my old rule of thumb, which is the only reason I have 30,000 connections, is the more visible you are, the better. And on LinkedIn, especially with the free account, which I have for the first 7 years. I just recently went to my paid account. But on LinkedIn, the more visible you are, the bigger your network, or the bigger your network is, the more visible you are. So I used to just accept everybody's invitation. I don't do that anymore. There's a lot of people there I'll never do business with, and I'll never do business with their network. So when it comes to people who are inviting you to connect, no, you don't have to accept every invitation. Absolutely not. If they're a good strategic partner for you, then it's a no-brainer. Now with mortgage lenders in Denver, I mean, do you do any kind of, you probably have a couple specific folks.
Very few.
Very few. But I would take a look, if they made it visible, I would take a look at their networks. If you can see if someone's network is visible, we'll just go to Daphne, right? Oops, or someone here. Let's just find someone here. There we go. You can tell if someone's network is visible if the blue number over here, the number of connections is, or if the number of connections is blue, that means their network is visible to me. So, and this is again free. This is with the free account. So I can look at their network and just see if those are the types of people that I would want to be working with. And if they are, absolutely accept the invitation. If they're not, ignore it. You can also, when someone sends you let's see, my assistant's probably been too diligent on this, but when someone invites you,
Ruth.
What's that? Oh, of course.
I go up there.
oh, awesome, very good. So when someone invites you to connect, I can just click on the profile. 2 pictures. Am I talking to Marty or Ruth? Or is it one person? Just saying.
The odds are you're talking to Ruth.
Yeah, exactly. But I can go to the profile, and then I can go and take a look at it. Very good profile, by the way. This is actually a really good profile. I can look at the profile. I can see who she's connected to. There's Han that we were just talking about, and go. And there's Lori. Lori's awesome. And just go. And Nicole. Oh, we know like and Scott and Rob. I know all these folks. So I go. Okay, she's cool. We have a lot of shared friends, and I actually know these people, which is actually unusual. And so then I can just come back up to her profile and absolutely accept that invitation. Now, if LinkedIn was working today, which apparently it's not, my assistant will be accepting. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. The other thing that I can do, though, is, we'll find somebody else here. If someone invites me to connect, and I'm not sure, oh, there's Wayne. Okay, I was like, who is that? There's Wayne in the left hand. And I'm not entirely sure I want to connect with that person. I can always come down here to the drop down to the right of accept and say reply, don't accept yet. And I can say, hey Wayne, thanks so much for inviting me to connect. I'm just wondering, why you wanted to connect. Do you want to put me on your newsletter without my permission? I say no. It's my huge pet peeve on LinkedIn. Oh, it drives me nuts when people do that. But if if I say, and usually I'll do this if I'm not entirely sure if someone's profile is real or not. And when they don't reply, it's a delete. When they do reply, any reply, it means that, hey, they're willing to engage and you just never know. And I'll usually accept their invitation. So it's completely up to you whether you want to accept an invitation. What I will tell you guys, though, is on your home page, about halfway down on the right-hand side, it'll show you the size of your network. So again, just take out the 29. Anywhere between, say, 200 and 500 or 400 first level connections is fine. As you continue to add them, 1,200, 3,000, that's great. Over 5,000 connections, I'll tell you, LinkedIn gets unwieldy. Third-party applications stop working. It has a hard time downloading. I mean, really, I would recommend most people keep it under 5,000 connections, which is pretty easy to do. The more important number is down here, and that's your visibility. Now, if you can be visible to 10 to 15 million people, awesome. And that'll happen over time. A lot of you started an account today. Don't worry about it. A lot of you have been on LinkedIn for maybe longer than I have, but you haven't been active. Don't worry about it. As you organically grow your network with people you know or should know, you become more visible. So, but just as a rule of thumb, somewhere over 200 first level connections and over 10 million people in your network. That's friends, friends of friends, and people you share a group with. Now let me show you a really easy way to get to like 6 or 7 million. One of them is inviting me to connect. So I think I actually should bring 6 million people to your network, but LinkedIn caps it at 3. So connect to me. That brings 3 million people to your network. The other thing to do is join groups. Oh, do you need a bio break? Does everyone want a break to shake around? Does anyone? Or should we just keep going?
Keep going.
Keep going, all right. Groups are great because groups allow you to grow your network, be more visible, email people directly or message people directly, even if they're not a first level connection, without spending any of your invitations. So you only, by the way, get 3,000 invitations in a lifetime. You can't buy more, you can beg for more, but you can't buy more. You can receive, as you've seen, up to 30,000 connections. So groups are great to join. If you go to the search box on the top left-hand side and come down here to where it says groups, Did y'all see that? And literally just hit enter.
It just changed it in the search bar up.
Just change it in the search bar, exactly. Top left-hand side, the little phone book looking thing says groups. Just hit enter, and LinkedIn will share with you the top groups. Join some of them. Join jobs. Even if you don't need a job or want a job, join jobs, because there's, almost 2 million members in that group. People who will show up in a search who you can now message because you share that group with them. Or if you don't want to join jobs, join the Harvard Business Review. It's got over 1 million members now. Or join my friend Michael's group, Social Media Marketing. It's got almost 1 million, or, yeah, oh wow, 70 short of 1 million. Or join, what is that, Linked HR, or Project Manager Network, or Digital Marketing, or Recruiter Network. It doesn't matter necessarily for these groups that that's not your industry. It is literally to become more visible on LinkedIn. Now, having said that, you also want to join groups in your industry, so who would make a good client? If there was a room full of a certain type of people, who would those people be as a prospect?
Human resource development.
There we go. So I'm just going to put in here human resource. I'll even put in development if I can. Am I typing correctly? I can't even tell.
Yes.
All right. So I can just search for groups in human resource development. Oops. Development. Spell it correctly. Here we go. Let's try that again. These are literally groups. Oops. These are literally groups of your prospects. Big, giant groups of your prospects that you can, yes, you can join a group and participate in it, and there's some groups you might want to, but mostly these are just a big, giant groups of leads for you. We'll talk about how to correctly engage with those big, giant groups of leads. So 12,000 potential strategic partners and or customers or clients. And you just join. Now what I will tell you is when you join a group, it's not going to let me because I've joined my 50 groups. You can join up to 50 groups. When you join a group, it gives you the option of adjusting your settings. Do that. You want to make sure that you don't get daily emails from these groups because it's a pain in the rear end. I'll show you where to do that in your settings as well. But I would say just go ahead and join 5 to 10 groups today. Big groups, local groups. Type in Greeley. See what groups are here locally in Greeley. Like I don't have time to do face-to-face networking anymore in Anne's group or with the chambers, but I'm a member of that group, so I can see my friends and see what's happening and engage with them there. It's absolutely worth joining these groups. That's the first way to make yourself more visible.
But in the settings, could you just opt out of like the digest email?
Exactly. So in your settings, and I'll jump over there and show you. Oops. Here we go. If you are a member of groups already, and it's like a total pain in the rear end because you keep getting emails from them, you can hit settings just by clicking on the little settings, on the little wheel here. If you go into interests and then groups, there's a little wheel on the top right hand side, and this actually allows you to go into any of your group settings and turn off, like you just said, turn off that daily digest. Or you can actually do that under here. So there's a couple ways you can do that. As you join a group, you can hit settings. If you forgot to do that, go into groups, hit the little wheel. Oops. There we go, hit the little wheel. You can adjust your settings there. Or you can come up here to privacy and settings. And it's going to make me sign in again. Oh, no.
There you go.
All right. All right. Oh. And if you come over here to groups, companies, and applications, you can see where it says turn on and off notifications when joining groups. Actually, no, it's not. It's set the frequency of group digest emails. They keep changing that. And so then you can go in and change your groups, all your groups too. But joining groups just makes you more visible. And hey, if you want to interact in them and actually start building relationships with people that way, why not? Now, another way to easily grow your network is people who viewed your profile. So again, on your home page, you can come down here, see who's viewed your profile. 1 to 2 a week is average, by the way, so don't worry about it too much. This is just what I do for a living. And I get, oh gosh, I need to, that reminds me. Oh, see, there we go. And then I can invite those people to connect or say, hey, this is another top of mind awareness, right? Thanks so much for inviting me to connect. You know, here's some resources, here's some cool stuff, here's a little bit more about me. Or more importantly, you can focus on them, you know, hey, tell me a little bit more about yourself, what your needs are, if I can help you in any way, if you ever need to be introduced to anyone in my network, you know, please just let me know. So just a little, it doesn't have to be a long diatribe and sales message. The shorter, the better, the more personal, the more succinct, the better. Of course, if it's someone you know, just say, hey, John, it's been ages, I'll get that article to you shortly, or whatever. But it's really handy, and this is one of the reasons I have the full account. I can see everyone who's viewed my profile, who are either competitors, friends, or potential leads. And I can invite someone to connect. Let's see, I better do this safely. Let's see, who do I actually know that I can invite to connect without pissing off?
Mike.
There's Mike.
There's Mike. All right, I'm going to invite you, Mike. So I can say we're colleagues or friends. Customize this message when you have the opportunity. You're not always going to have the opportunity to customize a message when you connect with someone, but whenever you can, it's really important to do so. So even if it's like, hi, Mike. Or Ike, as the case may be, but you know it's for me, and I can't spell. Now, the other cool place to connect and slowly grow your network is, again, on your homepage. And on the new user interface, this is going to take up the whole top, basically. But under people you may know. And this is kind of freaky. Actually, the smaller your network you have, the freakier this is. How does LinkedIn know I know that person? But they're looking at where you live, who you have in common, where you work, and there's an algorithm there, and they're going to say, okay, you probably know these people. And I think this is where you click on the connect button and it doesn't let you customize it anymore. Yeah. So if you invite these folks to connect just by clicking on that connect button, you can't customize your message. If you want to customize your message, though, it's just a couple extra steps. So I would go to Gail's profile, and then let me see if it's going to, on some of you who have the new user interface, it'll say customize invitation over here, or you can click connect and we're back to the same thing. And customize if possible. And I like this one. Hi, Gail. LinkedIn thinks we should know each other. Oops. Because that's true, right? LinkedIn does think you should know each other. I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. Or I can even go to Gail's profile and see what we have in common. When you go to someone's profile, let's check on Julie here. When we go to Julie's profile, about halfway down on the right-hand side, it'll tell me who we have in common or what we have in common. So we have a lot in common. We have 16 skills and expertise in common. We have 3 groups in common. We have 1 interest in common. And I can actually look at and scroll over and see what that is. And just say, hey, I see we're both interested in online project management, and we both know Louis and Brent and William and Rick. Would you like to connect? time you can customize a message, the better. And remember, everyone you connect to, you're not only visible to them, you're visible to their entire network. Now finally, when it comes to finding people, this is my favorite, using the advanced, this search right here sucks, to be honest. The advanced search, which is available to the free accounts as well, is much more useful now. I'm going to, it's probably working on that today too. Well, I'll tell you about it and then eventually it'll pop up. Okay, there we go. And this is the paid account, so you can just ignore that. But this is what you get. You can search for them by keyword or search term. So again, what was it? Not project managers.
Oh, like a
human
human
resource.
resource development or HR directors.
Okay, great. So I can check for both human resources up here. Now I'm going to add a plus between human and resources just to tie the words together. Otherwise, LinkedIn's going to look for a bunch of humans and a bunch of resources. And that's going to be way too big of the search results. With the free account, it'll show you that you might have 19 million results. I only get to see the first 100 with the free account. So you want to make it as tight and specific as possible. So I'm going to do the keyword human resources. I'm going to come down here. United States is good, but what's the Greeley postal code?
80634.
What is it?
80634.
0634. I want to be in the Greeley area. Now I can go out 50 miles, 100 miles, or 10 miles. I usually start at 50 and then, I usually start at 50 and then shrink or expand it, just depending on what my results are. I can also look for human resources director, so I'll just do HR or. Now if I capitalize the or, it becomes a definer. Because I don't know if I'm looking for HR or human resources. And I don't know if I'm looking for a director or, did I spell that right? No. Director, there we go. Or maybe I'm looking for VP of Human Resources, right? We don't know what people call themselves. So I can actually use or, that gives me more options, and I want people who currently work there. So what I'll do is I'll just do a real basic search like this. Human Resources and some titles in a specific area. This is all free. There we go. So something went wrong. Of course it did. Whoa. Okay, that's new. All right, so we'll just do this again. Maybe. Ugh. So let's try that again. So human. Now here's a ninja trick which I didn't do. It's really good to do this first in a Word document, so when LinkedIn messes up like this, you can just copy and paste the search over. And what I'm going to show you also in a minute is you can also save your searches. 3 save searches with the free account, 5 with the basic paid. Human. I'm not going to do the whole thing here, but it'll be good for now. Current. What was the zip code here again?
80634.
There we go. We'll go within 50 miles. Oops, that didn't work. Did that work? No, it's not working. Oh, now I got a bunch of them. There we go. That worked. All right. This is, now I'm going to tell you something really cool about this. So not only is it going to give me specific results, so 20 results, that's pretty good. So there's 20 HR folks within 50 miles of that particular zip code, and most of them are all of them are second or third level connections with me, which gives me a lot of opportunity. Now, if someone is a second level to me, or we share a group together, I can just invite them to connect. If I click on the connect button, it'll automatically send them a connection request, always personalized if possible by going into their profile. But the other thing I can do, if it's someone I really want to get to know, I can get introduced to them. So I can come down here to the drop down where it says get introduced, find the person that we have in common that I actually know, because I don't actually know all my First Level connections, and then I'm going to be really clear in the introduction as to why I want to get to know them. Now, I'm really clear, but maybe not brutally honest. So, Dawn, would you be willing to introduce me to Pamelyn? I want to sell her my book. No. Dawn, would you mind introducing me to Pamelyn? I noticed that you're both connected on LinkedIn. She's a HR professional in the Greeley area, and I'm growing my network strategically with folks like that. And, I know you know her, so would you mind introducing me to her? Dawn can say yay or nay. It's completely up to Dawn. But if she says yes, Pamelyn will also see that message, and then I can send Pamelyn a message as well. So you just want to be you want to be truthful, but be delicate with the truth. Don't, hey, can you introduce me to John because I want to sell my house. Now what you can do, which is also kind of cool, is before I reach out to Pamelyn, took me out of there again. Before I reach out to Pamelyn, I'll just pull someone up. I can look at her, profile. You go to a saved, where are my saved searches? Oh, LinkedIn changed it again. That's fabulous. I could go to a saved search if I knew where they just put it today. There they are, okay. They literally changed this from yesterday. So now my saved searches are under here. That's good to know. I can find someone. I can go to their profile, and I can actually see what they're interested in. So let's just say Bala's a good connection for me. I can go to his profile. I can ask him to get introduced to him. I can invite him to connect directly. I read his profile, see what he's interested in, maybe look at some of the media he has, watch one of his interviews, see what groups he has in common. I can even see what he's talking about if he's talking about anything on LinkedIn. So when you find someone who is a hot prospect for you, strategic partner, potential customer, whatever it is, take the 10 seconds to do some research. All right, so for some reason, Bal is interested in the University of Texas. I was just in Austin. Now we have something in common. Take the time to research them a little bit. Don't just willy-nilly necessarily invite people to connect. But if they are a really good prospect for you, you have a lot of options. Invite them to connect. Get introduced to them. I could send him an in-mail. That's a paid LinkedIn message. You can send, that's right here. So I can send I can send Bala a paid LinkedIn message. Or, and this is really cool, this is another reason to join groups. If we share a group together, which I can see, I can go down the bottom of his profile, see if we share a group, it'll say member if we do. I don't know if we do.
Oh, CMO network.
Where is it? Which one's
At
CMO?
the very bottom.
Very bottom. Okay, perfect. Thank you. There we go. What's his name again?
Bala.
I always forget this. Okay, Bala Venkat. All right, so I'm going to copy his name because I forget that. All right, so I'm going to go back down to the group that we share in common. There it is. So I'm just going to go into the group by clicking. I can either click on the name or the title. Either is fine. Come here. Open. Okay. I'm told that clicking more times, like on an elevator or on my computer, doesn't help. But it just drives me nuts. Okay, there we go. And then I come here to where it says members. This is a super ninja trick. This is awesome. Once it uploads, I'll go to members. Any second now. Boom. Don't do search. Even though search is the logical thing, don't go to search. Go to members. Come in here. Type his name in there. There we go. And then click search. So now he's going to show, Laura. Then he's going to show up. And you second now. There we go. And check this out. I can send him a message. Like 2 seconds ago, I had to pay for it. Now I can just send him a message or invite him to connect right from here. and I don't have to pay $10. I don't have to pay LinkedIn $10. So this is one of the workarounds when you have a free account. If you have a paid account, just use your InMail. But if you have a free account, go to a group they're a member of, go under members, pop their name into the search bar, and now you can send them a message without even connecting with them, without even being a first level connection. You could send them a message saying, would you be willing to connect? But these are, and the magic of LinkedIn really, where, and I should have started with this, where LinkedIn really works is it shows you way more than Google does, way more than Facebook does, way more than Twitter does, who you know, or who you should know that you didn't know that you didn't know. Right? I can do a search on LinkedIn and go, oh my gosh, you know, this person who is the perfect prospect for me goes to the same church that I go to. Or worked in the same company that I worked at. Or we both know the same people. And I had no idea. Are there companies that it's good for you guys to work with? Are there specific companies? Here's another cool search. Give me the name of a company that it would be great for you guys to do some work with.
No, yeah, State Farm.
State Farm, perfect. Oops. Now I really messed that one up. Okay, here we go. So, Tate Fay. Tate Fay is a great place. Oh, gee, now I got this stuff coming up. Tate Fay. There probably is someone on LinkedIn named Tate Fay, but we are looking for State Farm. So again, it's that weird drop-down box. That at least makes sense. It looks like a building. So I'm going to go into State Farm. Now this is State Farm across the, entire globe. So there's going to be a lot of people there. Nonetheless, I can click on See All and see who in my network works at State Farm. I got to tell you, every time I'm like, yeah, I'd like to do a training for OtterBox, or I'd like to do training for New Belgium, or I'd like to connect with some people at State Farm. I'm always shocked at how many people I actually know there that I didn't know that they worked there. And then I could just go through, and so I can see all my first level connections. So again, this is all free. When you get your search results from a company that you'd like to work with, on the left-hand side, I can see my first and second level connections. They're really the only people I'm interested in, because I know my first level connections I can send a message to, my second level connections I can get introduced to. So as I go to my first and second level connections here, HR consultant at State Farm, cool. Who lives in Fort Collins? Great, I can connect to her, get introduced to her, see if we share a group together and send her a message through the group, done. I don't need her email address. I don't need her phone number. And by the way, messages that come through LinkedIn get a 28% higher open rate than an email. Because they don't get filtered out by spam. So, and done.
If that's all you got out of this class,
Done.
28%
Right?
higher.
Exactly. I mean, okay, here's Doug. He might be a good connection. Branch supervisor. Brian would be a great connection for me. Let's find out a little bit more about Brian. Here's his profile. Now, difference between a free and a paid account. I get to see Brian's first name and last name. You probably just get to see his first name and last initial. It's enough. It's enough. If you needed to find Brian in a search, you could do Brian State Farm. In the search box in a group, it would still find him. So even if you can't get the first name and the last name, I can come down here. Okay, he's conversant enough in LinkedIn. We got a first name, we got a customized profile. He's got some endorsements. People like him. Oh, we could follow some of the same companies. Oh, we've got some connections in common. As I scroll up here, we've got this skill, we've got marketing in common. We're both a member, there we go. We're both a member of Executive Suite NoCoNet. I spoke at NoCoNet once. I could say, hey, Brian, I don't know. Were you in the audience? Did we speak a couple years ago when I spoke at NoCoNet? You look so familiar. It's not a complete lie. It could be true. We both lived in Fort Collins at some point. I now have a lot. So I could just invite him to connect again. I can do connect and say how I know him and add that stuff in there. Or if I'm uncomfortable and he's a whale, he's a real hot prospect, I can just get introduced to him. Again, just clicking on the Get Introduced button, choosing the person I want to introduce us. Think I know Keith. Network, by the way. Now here's another ninja trick. So now we're into ninja trick mode. All right, so we'll just go to Bob here. So let's just say I get on, I get on the phone with Bob, or maybe I don't even get on the phone with Bob, but Bob's a good connection for me. Over here, I can click on the relationship tool. This is LinkedIn's internal CRM system. Now, here's where having a paid account works out a little bit better. With a paid account, can do this with anyone on LinkedIn. You can only do this with first level connections or people you're tightly connected to. So if you've got a lot of groups in common, or you have a lot of people in common, LinkedIn will sometimes waive this for you and let you do this, even for folks who are not first level connections. I can click on relationship, and I can make notes on Bob. So I can say, okay, Bob is a hot prospect. He seems to be altruistic. We have these people in common. Like, I can literally take notes. I do this with clients all the time. Like, how much am I charging them? When I talk to a prospect or a client, I'm keeping my notes on them right here.
And only you see those.
Only I see these, because trust me, some of the notes, you wouldn't want your clients to see. I can also tag Bob. So I mentioned earlier that you have your whales, you have the 10 to 30 hot prospects, people you really want to keep engaged with, people you really want to stay top of mind with. Again, they don't see this, but you can tag them. So these are some of my top people on LinkedIn. So I could tag him as a prospect, general prospect, or a previous client, or someone who can promote my posts for me, or, so you can see I've got, actually you can have up to 250. Or maybe you went to a conference together and you can tag them in that conference. It's up to you how you want to tag that person, but now I can segment my connections. So for those of you who have 200 connections, you may or may not need to do this. For those of you who have 1,000 plus, in order for LinkedIn to be useful, you need to segment that market. And then what's really cool is I can come here into connections, come down here to tag, find that tagged group of people, and send them a private message once a week, once a month. Remember, 28% higher open rate. So I can send these 8 hot prospects of mine just a general piece of knowledge, just something, that one touch, just something for me to stay top of mind with them. Now, LinkedIn will not customize this in Dear Andy, Dear Todd, Dear Jennifer, Dear Larry. So what I'll say is, I can't remember what this tag was, but it's looking at this, it's probably social media influencer. I'd probably say something like, did you know about this latest LinkedIn thing? Did you know about this latest real estate law? Did you know about this latest thing in mortgage brokering? Did you know about the new land laws? And then I'll write a little piece about it. Like, just literally email. And you can share somebody else's link, right? So you open up your computer that day and someone sent you a new email about the latest McWhinney project. And you're like, oh, my customers or clients probably need to know about that. Hey, potential clients who are also into commercial real estate, did you know about this new project that's happening? Did you know about this new park that's being built? And you share that content. It's not always a sales pitch. It's not always, are you ready to buy that piece of property yet? It's just a way of staying top of mind with them in a way that is helpful and useful. So again, if you have enough connections and you share enough groups together, you can certainly do this with people who you're not connected to, but you definitely want to do it to the people you're connected to. So you just come here to connections. I know it's an awful lot of information, but that's why we've recorded it. So you just come here to connections, and you can literally sort your connections, last name, first name, new connections, people you recently talked to, and Start now before you have 30,000 people. And you can come through here and tag them. So right here, here's Liz. So, I've got her tagged female solopreneur, social media person. And so I can send an email to all my social media folk in one fell swoop. Hey, I'm going to be at Social Media Marketing World. Are you? Hope we can grab a coffee. That's all. Takes seconds. I just got top of mind with them and a much better chance of them opening that email than when I send out my newsletter to 50,000 people who gets opened by 1%. Much better open rate. So, and then we'll take questions here. So as we wrap up, your profiles are going to be great, but you have to build your house before you invite people over. Upload that photo, customize that URL, spend a little time on your professional headline and your summary. If nothing else, do that. That will not take you more than half an hour, especially since we've got the workbook. Do that first. Second rule, look at people who viewed your profile. Invite some of them to connect. Look at people you should be connected to according to LinkedIn. Invite them to connect. Do a search. And the one thing I didn't really make clear, when you do a search that really works, like when you get the results and you're like, ooh, that's a good prospect, and that's a good prospect, and that's a good prospect, and that's a good prospect. When you get a search that really works, you can actually save it. Oh, now the save search showed up. You can actually save that search. And then when you go into that save search, this is awesome. It's not only easier to find those people again, so I can go and do the next 50 and the next 50 and the next 50. Get this was kind of important. LinkedIn will email you in your email, like Gmail, Hotmail, AOL, Outlook, will email you the 10, 15, 100 people who just fell newly into that algorithm. Leads, they're called leads. LinkedIn will send you leads every week when LinkedIn is working. So you can see here, and you can save 3 searches with the free account, 5+ with the paid. Come on. But you can see you'll be able to see here shortly, when I click on saved search, I've got 5 saved searches, maybe 7 right now, and it'll actually say, they're working on searches too right now, clearly. It'll actually say 47 new people. There'll be a number next to that saved search, and I can click on that, or LinkedIn will literally just email it to me. And those are new leads. Those are new prospects, hot prospects for me to reach out to, and they're free. This is all free account. But, okay, we're just going to give up on that for right now. But the bigger your network, to a certain point, like I said, 5,000 is really kind of the top. 3,000 is where things start getting geeky. But anything over 200 is good. The bigger your network, the more connected you are to people or in groups, or if you just want to pay the $29 a month, you don't have to work so much on that stuff, the more you're able to find and engage with those top prospects. And by the way, the more active you become on LinkedIn, the more those prospects find you. I don't do any outbound. I need to. But I don't do any outbound marketing right now at all. Nothing. Everything comes to me through people I know or through just messages through LinkedIn or through my website. Everything is inbound. I hate cold calling. Hate it. Every fiber of my being, do not like dialing for dollars. Some of you do. You're weird, but that's good. But for those of you who, and if you do like dialing for dollars, great. You can find those people here and you can dial them up. Or you can also, the more active you become on LinkedIn, let them find you. 2 more pieces, and then I'll take questions, and then we'll let you go, because I have 3 minutes. Speaking of being active on LinkedIn, share an update a day. I mean, a quote you like. Someone emailed you something, it's like a cute quote from, Gandhi or whatever. Share it. This volunteer opportunity, share it. There's a blog, share it. By all means, if you guys blog, right? Yeah. Share, please, share Sears blog. Just let them know when a new blog is out. You can share it. You find something someone else talked about. Share it. Literally, all you have to do is go through your stream and go, oh, that's cool. I'm going to share it. Once a day. You can even share things from other sites. You'll see on most blog sites, there's a little blue LinkedIn button. You can share from someone else's site. Once a day, vastly increases your visibility. For the 3 or 4 of you who are in the room who blog or like writing, this little pen right here allows you to create a post. This is what I was talking about. Upload an image of the home, write your headline, new home sells to, or new home, new historical home for sale, NOCO district opened, whatever. Don't just put the listing in there though, write a story about it. Tell a story about it. But literally, if you just get on LinkedIn, complete your profile, reach out to people who you should know or who's viewed your profile, and maybe do a couple searches, and maybe share an update a day, and check your inbox. Make sure you check your inbox. If you do that, it'll take you less than 5 minutes a day, with the exception of writing a long post. It'll take you less than 5 minutes a day. It'll increase your visibility, and the leads might start coming to you. And that's the power of LinkedIn. That's really the power of LinkedIn, is who's in there that you didn't even know was your best referral ever. So that's it. Are there any questions in the 2 minutes we have remaining? 1 minute we have remaining. Oh, let me turn off. Well, no, I'll leave this on. I'll turn it off later. Do you want me to show you anything I went over? You're all like, we have to pee and I want lunch.
The best things to do would be adding some content every day, whatever
Yep,
it is.
little piece.
And then trying to find a couple connections maybe, or
Yep.
reaching out to a connection once a day or
Yep.
something.
Exactly. One thing that people, I like this idea too. One of my friends slash competitors, Bryn, she's got her 10 power people on LinkedIn. So every day she goes through her connections. She literally just goes through her connections and reaches out to 10 people. Either she knows them really well, or she's connected to them and she doesn't know them. But it's a, hey, I noticed we're connected on LinkedIn, but I don't really feel like I know you well enough. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? It just starts with the conversation. Or, like I said, people who viewed your profile, great. I noticed you viewed my profile. Please let me know how it can be of service. That's easy.
How important are endorsements, Vivica? Because I get people, oh, so and so endorsed you, and it's like that's sometimes
Yeah.
I don't even hardly know them.
Oh, yeah.
But is it important for you to sort of reach
Accept
back
them.
and do that? And
Yeah.
okay.
Some of you have people who help you out. Great. That's like my assistant. So for those of you who have assistants, my assistant goes through and qualifies the people who invite me to connect. She'll accept and send a letter to the people who qualify, and I give her what is a qualified lead or not. She goes through and sees who's viewed my profile, and she'll, again, reach out to my qualified leads for me, so I don't have to do any of this. She goes to my endorsements, and she thanks the people who've endorsed me, and then she alerts me if there's something in my inbox that I need to pay attention to immediately. And she responds to the people who respond to me. Understand, no one in this room is going to have as busy an inbox on LinkedIn as I am. This is what I do for a living. So you probably don't need an assistant to help you with LinkedIn. But, those are some of the things I do. In case you have an assistant, you might as well have them do it. It'll take them 10 minutes a day. But for you guys, yeah, just checking who's viewed your profile, check your inbox. Thank the 5 endorsements you get a day. Literally, the book's an hour, LinkedIn Marketing an Hour Day, because that's the name of the series. It should not take you more than 15 minutes. Create a checklist. That's what I do with my clients. We create a checklist. What's most important for you? Great. Let's do this every day. Let's do this every week. Let's do this every month. And then either they do it or they hand it to their assistant. But you should not have to be on LinkedIn more than 15 minutes a day. But the payoffs, one new house sold. One of my clients, she's a realtor in Wesley. So, Wesley, Boston, Massachusetts. So, a little pricey. $250,000 of profit, not sold, but $250,000 in commissions over 3 homes that she sold because of her social media presence. So, it's worth it for her to spend 15 minutes a day doing a little update here and there. Now, she is really using LinkedIn to position herself as an expert on luxury real estate in Wellesley. If you Google luxury real estate Wellesley, she shows up. So she's killing it. But there's no reason why you guys can't either. And by the way, she has a free account too. She doesn't have the paid account. She needs to get one. but but she's got the free account. I mean, so you can absolutely do this with the free account on LinkedIn. It all comes. The free account is really about the size of your network and knowing those few ninja tricks, like using groups to send messages. That's really what the free account's about.
Other questions for Vivica? Oh my god, I feel like I took a drink out of a fire hydrant.
Yeah, sorry about that. This is usually a 4-hour
I know,
class.
so we appreciate having her. We got like sort of the condensed version, and you know, really, I think if you just spent an hour in the next couple of weeks just updating